What's up, guys? Vesper here with a channel update video on why I haven't been releasing content, and I feel really bad about it, guys. So first, let me share my thoughts on all the Street Fighter V content lately, because I didn't get a chance to make those videos. So first thing I want to talk about is the Rose balance patch. You guys haven't noticed, there is some bug fixes, but when Akira and Oro were released, Rose actually got a balance patch because she missed the mark when she was released, and all the other characters got a balance patch. So this balance patch is actually phenomenal. It addressed pretty much every concern or criticism they had with Rose, especially with her anti-airs. They gave her some new combos with her V skill 1, more usages for that. Both her V triggers were fine. They're both very, very strong. And all of her little problems with her standing medium punch and like the pushback and all that, honestly, it's one of the best character patches that I've seen since when they changed Zeku, allowing him to switch forms between combos. It's a good patch, and too bad it's like so at the end of Street Fighter V's life. But I want to point out how good that balance patch was for her, even though not much people are playing Rose. Now let me share my thoughts with the two recent characters released, Akira and Oro. I think both characters are okay. Let's talk about Akira first. Most pro players are playing Oro right now, and Oro is more figured out than Akira, but there are some players such as Momochi, for example, who's really going hard on Akira. You guys are probably wondering what I think about her strength wise. I think she's basically a weaker version of Kadeen, and that's not exactly a bad thing, because I feel like with the recent releases of characters, especially this recent season, there seems to be a different philosophy on how a character is built. I think Akira's design is awesome, and I think the whole rival schools thing and utilizing her V skill 2 like perfectly into her gameplay, I think that's amazing, the air combos and all of that. But in terms of strength, in terms of using her in an actual tournament, she just really falls behind. She has so many bad matchups. Off the top of my head, like Balrog would be like Bison is impossible, Balrog's super hard, Guile's super hard. She's got a lot of bad ones, and it's basically the same thing that Kadeen would have problems with, but not as bad, right? Now, what I mean by different philosophy is that, like, there are characters that are on the original roster that have been going through so many balance patches now that they just you can't have new characters at these levels anymore. There's characters like Rashid that no matter how many times we nerf him, he will just always be too good. Characters like Cammy as well. There's a lot of like original characters and characters from season 1 that will always just be strong. Urian, Guile. And I feel like now with the amount of pushback that these new characters have in their normals, and the way that they're balanced out on their like really oppressive moves like their crush counters, it's just a totally different style now, and it's really hard to balance the game at this point when you have two philosophies for that. I could probably make a whole video about that, but let me keep going here. Now, Capcom says that Akira is more for like beginners and stuff, but I think she's a really technical character. I think if you really want to push her far, you gotta be really good at hit confirming. She does have some pretty good hit confirms, but you need to be good at them because she has such stubby normals, and she has problems with VS zoners or characters with really long range normals. But when she gets in, Akira really shines. She does excellent damage. She can get phenomenal damage off a crush counter if you have V skill 2, and her corner pressure is insane, which is really nice for her. Now for her V skills, her V skill 1 is really fun because you can do the wall splat, and it helps you a lot in the neutral, but it's so hard to turn down V skill 2 with the air calls, because the air calls are so sick. The amount of tech that people have found, they found side switches with it, they found resets like crossouts with it, and the damage is so high and the corner carry is so damn good. And it's rival schools, man, it's hard to put down, but V skill 1, man, since Capcom showed the restraint to not give her more plus on block with her fireball, if they didn't show that restraint, then more people would probably be using V skill 1 with her. Now for her V triggers, I mean, V trigger 1 hands down is the better V trigger. There's a lot of things you can do with it. The instant pressure when you use it, although it's not as crazy as Nadeshiko because you have the threat of the command grab. Akira doesn't have a command grab, but however, there are definitely resets that have been found. I like to use it myself. And the bottom line is V-Trigger 2 is the worst V-Trigger in the game. Akira's V-Trigger 2 is worse than Juri's V-Trigger 2. Worse than Cammy's V-Trigger 2. That's right, I said it. It is absolute garbage. And I don't really want to go into details why I have to keep going in this video, but it is awful. It has nothing. No damage, no pressure, no Oki. It is junk. Don't ever use it. Now for Oro, I didn't get to play Oro as much as I played Akira, but I think he's slightly stronger than Akira just because he has zoning. I think he has more favorable matchups just because he can zone alone. It doesn't necessarily mean he's that much better. Like I said, I think both Akira and Oro are okay, but Oro is definitely more of the popular of the two. There's a lot more notable players playing Oro, and he's got a lot of interesting things. I did not get the chance to mess around much with anything but Tengu Stone, but Tengu Stone makes Oro really strong because it has such massive damage output and comeback factor. There are so many times, man, where people will underestimate Tengu Stone with Oro, and if they have half health, they're dead if you have super. If they get even one straight hit, a lot of people now are just simply taking the throw, but now with that crazy bug where Oro can quick land when canceling his double jump into a throw, now it's even stronger. So I think Oro will move up a little bit, but I don't think enough where people are going to be dropping their mains, dropping their Rashids, their Akumas, and Zekus or whatever for Oro, but he's still very fun. And I do think he is viable, but they're going to find more tech on him. Now, personally, I did find Akira more fun to play than Oro, even though my win rate was higher than Oro. It's just because his walk speed is so slow and he's a charge character. You're inherently going to zone more often with him. Most of the time with Oro, you're doing a lot of back dashes and forward dashes. You're kind of playing him like Urian, actually, now that I think about it. And a lot of your win condition revolves around that Tengu Stone. I didn't get a chance to use his throw V-trigger, unfortunately. But I felt like with Oro, it was more like defend against the player minigame. How long can I sustain blocking with Oro and then finally land the Tengu Stone to win? Whereas Akira was more like I had more control of the match. And I'm like, I'm trying to get in and my goal is clear kind of deal. But I think both characters are really well designed and well made. And I think that with the balance patch of Rose, how good it was, I feel like Akira and Oro are one balance patch away from being actually very, very strong. So that's good. And that balance patch is really close to with the release of Luke in November. Now, one more thing I want to talk about with the recent patch that we got with Akira and Oro's release is tournament mode. I actually got to play tournament mode a lot myself. And there are some people that they really enjoy tournament mode, but I seem to be the only person out there that thinks tournament mode has a lot to be desired, and it's really lackluster. First off, the menus and the navigation, all that is very archaic. It doesn't make any sense. It's totally convoluted. It's really annoying. And tournament mode, also, you can't just create it and then start the tournament. You have to do it in like half an hour intervals. And I understand that tournament mode was intentionally used for actual real tournaments for people to compete in and not just some fun mode for streamers to use with people. But I think Capcom should have it for that, unless there's some kind of server overload issue. But it's really frustrating to like, hey, let's do a fun tournament, guys, and then we all have to wait half an hour if I miss that half an hour mark, which is pretty frustrating. Now, the biggest issue with tournament by far is the spectating. The spectating is an absolute mess. It's hit or miss. It works sometimes. We love to play 3v3 mode where we're going to randomly get assigned with teams of 3. It makes it really interesting. It's kind of like this KOF mode that we have, and we have like no life regeneration and stuff like that for comebacks and stuff for stacked teams, and it's great. But unfortunately for my stream, we can't spectate these matches half the time. Now, another thing I have to note though, that my experience might vary, is that I'm allowing any player from anywhere around the world to enter my tournament. So we're running like the leggiest tournaments there are in Street Fighter V, and that's probably one of the reasons that the spectating is really bad. But we have tried running 1v1 tournaments, and still the spectating is really hit or miss. Another thing that's really annoying is you cannot spectate a match unless you start spectating before the match has even begun. So when you lose in the tournament, you have to wait for all the matches to finish, and then you have to reserve a slot, and you can only watch that slot from that match. You can't jump in between. Like I said, it's just so damn lackluster. It's really, really frustrating, and I don't know how these guys are able to run these actual online tournaments using this mode. So yeah, hopefully in Street Fighter 6 it's a lot more exciting. It has a lot of potential, especially for me as a streamer and content creator's perspective. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is Luke. So I really want to make a speculation video like everybody else is on who Luke is related to. I want to put like, throw my gauntlet on the ring here, maybe I'll guess right. But I really think he's related to Gunlock and Biff somehow, because on our retro streams we actually played Slam Masters 2 recently, and man, there are so many moves that are from that trailer, in the Luke trailer. Sonic booms and flash kicks everywhere. I'm almost convinced, but I'll make a video about that sometime in the future when I have time, guys. But anyways, we're talking about before, why didn't they release Luke and then have Akira as the final character, since she's a guest character, But now thinking back on that comment, I actually probably know why. It's probably because since Luke's story is going to somehow introduce us in the Street Fighter 6 on who he is, or maybe the timeline and all of that, I think when Luke is released in November, I think that's around the time that Capcom's actually going to announce Street Fighter 6. Like, doesn't mean I think Street Fighter 6 is coming anytime soon. It's probably not coming until probably next year, actually. Next year, February, if you're going to be specific, since every Street Fighter game comes out in February. But I think that's when the big news is finally going to come out, and that's why they saved Luke for last. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when we get closer to November. Alright, if you guys have stuck around this long in the video, I'm going to do my channel update now. So let me say once again, I apologize guys for the slow content, if not any content at all. There's basically two main reasons why there hasn't been much content on the channel. First reason is there's a lot of real life stuff going on right now. I mean, for all of us guys, I speak for everyone, there's a lot of real life stuff. But for me, I am trying to sell my house right now, and there's a lot of things going on, renovations, lawyer stuff, and house searching. I'll be moving. I'm still staying in the same city and all that, but I'm trying to find a new place, and I'm trying to sell my place. So there's a lot of stuff going around, a lot of people walking in and out of the house, and I just don't have that kind of time to pour right now, and I had to take some time off work as well to deal with this. Now the second main reason is because Street Fighter 5 guys, I kid you not, the game, the matchmaking is completely dead for me right now. I cannot find matches. Doesn't matter what day I play guys, even during peak hours, I'm still playing against the same 2 or 3 players. It's unfortunate. I live Midwest Canada, and I cannot matchmake against anyone from California, bro. It is crazy. Even if I put the connection speed to any, there is no hope. The matchmaking will make me go against people in the Dominican Republic or Mexico or Brazil, an entire country away from me, before they matchmake me with anyone in the US on East or West Coast. That's just how it is, man. And then on top of that, the matches, the netcode is so poor. I just simply cannot get content. Any match I play just has so much like rollback. It's insane. So I just can't get any quality content to you guys and do all these videos if I can't even play the game myself. It's really demoralizing, honestly. But it is what it is. We're getting close to the end of the game's life, and it just, yeah, it's completely out of my control. And I'm sure you guys understand, and you guys have all been there as well. But that doesn't mean I'm quitting content creation for good, guys. I'm just taking a break right now until I get everything under control in my life. And when Street Fighter 6 gets announced, I will make the time to release lots of content as usual and get ready. I'm so excited for a new game to cover. I just need to find the right one that interests me. Actually, if you guys have been keeping with that news, that Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, that Smash game actually looks pretty damn fun after they showed some content for that. My brother is actually really excited for that game, so maybe we can do some videos on that. That might be fun. So maybe we'll update you guys when that gets close. I think that releases on October 5th. So that might be something for me to cover for a while to kill sometime. But guys, I'm always doing stuff behind the scenes as well. I'm getting ready to do a little revamp of the channel and kind of start fresh again and get into the drive. So I am excited for the future, but for now, things are going to be slow. So before I go, guys, I just want to say I appreciate everybody's support after all these years, sticking with me, the ups and downs. It really means a lot, guys. I'm still checking comments on my videos and all that. I'm still here, and just thanks so much for supporting me, guys, really. And I'll make up for it in the future. So until next time, guys, take care, everyone. Stay safe and be well. Peace.